I feel like last year it was really obvious that I was the best mid laner in Academy. This year, I'm looking to do the same thing.
Boom take a lot of damage. He's gonna get picked. Shockwave on the 3. The combo from the Thieves. Team Liquid, and that's it. That's the game. That's the series. That is proving ground.
What helps people improve is not being afraid to take risks or kind of push a lane to the limits.
Getting low, but he can look for another one. He does get himself stunned, but again, the healing is just so massive. Misses the Q-Dot. Safeguard is back on. What? He finds it with a Tempest. That's on! That's on! The man is going to try and 1v3. Here comes Joey. 1v4. Oh, we find the kill.
Harry, congratulations. Hey, I see everybody behind. Oh, the double stun flash from Tenacity.
Oh, no.
He'll get the kill. Oh, no! Why did you charge the turret? Oh! Just force them in. Tenacity with a 5-man ultimate. The rockets, the resets. Tenacity with the triple kill. And
Oh my God.
Your son catches Spawn in the middle of the dark passage. What a shutdown from TSM.
Are they gonna give him a pentakill on Sejuani to kick off Proving Grounds? I think they are. Pentakill to our man. Hello and welcome everybody. 2022 Academy. Did you want to
Hold on. Wait, what is this? What's going on here, Kangas? Hold on. Are we both hosts?
I think we're both hosting, right?
I think we are. No, in all seriousness, welcome everyone to the LCS Academy 2022. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be hosting alongside you, Kangas. It's going to be a great
Could not
year.
ask for a better co-host. For anybody wondering, there's been one big change from Academy from this year to last year. 2 dedicated streams with dedicated broadcasts as well. So you'll have both of us hosting each day, each week. That's why the 2 of us are doing this intro together, and then also dedicated caster pairs. So it's going to be an awesome time. I cannot wait to get the show underway.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun one. But first, we got to, if you've been paying attention at all, I don't know if you've heard the news on the grapevine, but if you've been watching this channel, we have had some action going on here, and we're starting off talking about the unified qualifiers, man. It's been a rough and tumble road for sure.
Yeah, if you haven't yet, follow the Twitch account because you're going to catch all the Academy games and also all the amateur games going on in the Proving Grounds qualifier circuit. So make sure you're checking this out. And then the secondary stream will also be on twitch.tv/faceit. So pull both up right now so that way you can catch all the games for today. Listen to one at a time. Listen to both if you really like to have a chaotic time. But regardless, congratulations to the teams
really about the
participating in the open qualifiers for the circuit here. 100 Thieves next, already qualified for the bracket stage with Winthrop University Golden Guardians Academy, who are actually also participating in that one, and Taco Gaming.
The only Academy team.
Exactly, the only Academy team that is actually participating in the Proving Ground circuit. So it's cool. Make sure that you're sticking around on Monday so that you can actually watch the amateur games as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of games to watch, but hey, that's what we love about the in-season of League of Legends. Talk about in-season of League of Legends. We've also had another tournament going on another channel.
Yeah.
Lock-It has been going on, and gotta say, we've had a little bit of representation from the Academy side there.
I mean, it's no surprise. It was all over social media and also on the LCS broadcast itself. How many Academy players are actually playing in there? Some teams are only playing around with one player, in particular XU, really, kind of surprising me with his performance on Dignitas. But we did have 2 dedicated rosters from Academy actually filling in during the lock-in tournament. First of all, we already said their name. Golden Guardians Academy had to play in the circuit qualifiers.
They got all the
Grounds.
Experience at this point. I mean,
Lock-in tournament, and now we get to see them today at Academy. So hopefully they've had some time to warm up.
Yeah, just a little bit of time. I think, especially with the chaos the meta ensues right now, you need all the warm-up you can get, and especially against some LCS caliber talent. Not too shabby there.
But they're not the only one. TSM Academy also had a chance to play in the lock-in tournament. So we got a pretty good look at both of these teams and both of these rosters. So I want to take some time to talk about that since we actually know a lot about them coming into the day today. Who impressed you more? Is it TSM who picked up a win? They have won. It might have been a 50-minute slugfest, but it's a win. Or was it Golden Guardians who have yet to pick one up?
I mean, you got to go with the dub, right?
Okay.
Like, you can't walk away without a dub and get confident. No, it was a great showing from GGA, but I do have to give it to TSMA. The combo of Hyper Viper, like, it just gets me going, man. Like, it's so exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the ceiling that these two players have, but they showed a decent amount of communication and cohesion in lock-in, so it's really exciting that they got that little bit of experience together before the Academy season kicks off.
Well, outside of just the two rosters, of course, we did have multiple players. Were there any specific players that stood out to you that played in lock-in that we'll see in Academy today, as we see a couple that notable members that played in lock-in and will also be in Academy?
Yeah, you know, there's the Chimes. XU, you already mentioned. You know, he was in the top 5 KDAs. Darshan, a constant mainstay in the scene. But then you got this new guy, Bjergsen, coming into Academy scene, and it's such an unknown quantity. I just really don't know what to do. Like, my analysis is up. Our color casters don't, like, everything's burning.
We have no Academy information on this player, Bjergsen, in their Academy debut. So welcome, Bjergsen. All jokes aside.
Welcome, Bjergsen, to Academy.
All jokes aside, Team Liquid Academy, their mid laner, Harry, still yet to arrive in the States. Should hopefully be here for week 2, but for now, Bjergsen will be in. But we actually got a chance to talk with Coach Spot, and he said, according to Bjergsen, this is still good news for him because he gets some chance to, continue to practice and warm up for stage games because it's been a while since he's competed. But yeah, good luck to all the players that now get a chance to compete against Bjergsen on stage.
Bjergsen. Not too shabby in that avenue. I do want to go back to the point you were talking about a little bit. Like, I love that he's hungry for more games, right? Because that's always something I find is so important, is to have that hunger, have that passion. It is Academy, but I hope he takes it as seriously as he can, get some of that experience in so he looks as good as he can in LCS.
Academy is all about proving yourself, right? It's about that path to the LCS. So if you can solo kill Bjergsen, I'm just saying,
that's a free ticket. I mean, honestly, import or not, that's a free ticket.
But I did want to have a serious conversation about players that we saw in lock-in that we will also get to see in Academy today. Is there any standout for you? Any single player that you're like, this is the guy, this is the one that I really want to hype up today?
I'm still on XU.
Okay.
I think XU is such a prodigy, man. And, like, we were talking about prodigies a little bit last season with Will, right? And not seeing him continue on this time around. XU is that mainstay jungler for me. And I really want to see what his growth is like, especially early on in the split, right? You're going to get to see how quickly this guy is improving easily through Academy.
I mean, that Lee Sin game in lock-in was absolutely insane. Even the Xin Zhao game, he had some pretty good performances.
His mechanics are
Kids got fingers. Kids definitely got fingers. Also, that Katarina hover for his girlfriend, if you noticed on Twitter, that was adorable. That was so cute. Mine would actually have to be Viper, though. I'm actually going to go back to a more long name, or kind of namesake for LCS. He's had stage experience, but his champ pool is very different. He played Corki top. He played Vayne top. I mean, like, it was cool to see the champ pool come out for him, and I hope that he's able to bring that out here in Academy too and show some of these younger top laners what it's like to play against ranged carries.
Yeah, it's the ebb and flow of tanks and carries right now. The top lane is so interesting because you got the players that are all in and they don't care about anything. They want to take blood, and you got ones that are okay sitting back. Viper is not the latter.
Fun fact: he actually played Tryndamere into Darshan, who was the Tryndamere player. So I thought that was also cool.
If that doesn't take confidence, I don't know what is.
But of course, that's the past. That's leading up amateur and lock-in. But we got a show ahead of us as well, Mazel.
We do. We have a long day ahead of us as well. A lot of games across those two streams. You were mentioning earlier, but we're going to go ahead and look over what we got going on today. This is the A stream. So, Kangas, let's get your thoughts a little bit on each one of these matchups. Dignitas and FlyQuest. What's your hot take? What you got?
Hot take, I am so excited to see Dark Wings versus Spyrax in the mid lane. That is such a cool matchup. Two of the promising amateur mid laners here. Dark Wings has had a lot of hype behind him, and Spyrax, I think, is one of the dark horse mid laners of the league. So it's cool to see that. And personally, I actually think Dignitas Academy can make it pretty far in this league. I initially ranked them very low, but the more I think about them, the more excited I get. So I'm very excited to see specifically a mid lane matchup, but then also what XU brings in from his lock-in experience.
Yeah. I love the new blood spotlight there in the mid lane, especially because mid lane is so key right now in the carry potential. But what you got when it comes to TL versus EG, Kangas? That's a tightly contested match.
I mean, I was gonna say Soligo Harry as well mid lane matchup, but now we got Bjergsen and Soligo. Fun fact. We'll probably mention this later in the show as well. Soligo's first LCS game was against Bjergsen, and now Bjergsen's first Academy game is against Soligo. So
how the turntables, Kangas? How the turntables?
But also top lane. Bradley's debut in the top lane for Team Liquid Academy against
I'm so
Sturdy.
excited for that.
That's going to be really cool as well. Honestly, any lane, there's a narrative here. And then
it feels like for Sturdy, it's a little bit of pride there too, right? Bradley coming into his lane. Come on, man. You can't have that.
It's specifically because mechanical player who believes that top lane has less competition in the role. So that's a statement. That's a gauntlet to be thrown. And then we get Cloud9 Academy going up against CLG Academy to round out the day. Now, Cloud9 Academy will have a very different look. We'll obviously cover more of them later today, but multiple subs coming in for Cloud9 Academy that we found out over the weekend. So hopefully they've had time to scrim and get prepared to go up against CLG Academy, who are looking pretty stacked as an Academy lineup. So if you want to watch these games, this is stream number 1. This will be on this twitch.tv/academy. But we also have a secondary stream as well. This is the one that you will be hosting, and we'll have 2 best of 2s on there. So talk to me about Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves.
Well, I just want to make one last point. I gotta say, keep an eye out for the names coming in for C9. There's some big amateur names coming through. It's very exciting. But this first matchup we have is so exciting. Anytime you see 100 Thieves on the Rift, especially in their development cycles, especially in their academy, their next teams, right? It's always exciting. And obviously, the main look is definitely going to be towards this jungle matchup. I mean, Kenvi is the stalwart standout of academy junglers, it feels like. And he's going against Iconic, who has had a decent amount of experience spread across the board with Golden Guardians. So it's a little bit of that kind of, do you have that ceiling to hang with the likes of Kenvi for Iconic and seeing how that leads early on in the
also,
game?
Ryoma versus his old team, so that's really cool to see
Very
as well.
true.
We got 2 Proving Grounds champions in that matchup. TSM Academy versus Immortals Academy, though. Thoughts on this?
Well, I already talked about TSM Academy a decent amount. I mean, they're already looking pretty good. But on the other side, you do have Pretty. And I would like to see a decent step up from Pretty this time around, this split around, right? And see how much growth he was able to have in the offseason. But all eyes are on Arrow for me. How does Arrow do? How much can this bot lane, which rules the meta right now? I don't know how many times I'm going to get to say that in my life. But how much can he influence the game against the likes of Instinct and yours?
I have a lot of faith in Arrow, personally for myself. But, of course, he's going to have to bring it to the Rift. But those are the games that we have for day number 1 of the Spring Split for 2022 Academy. Mazel, I can't wait to get underway. But if you at home want to keep up to date with everything Academy, make sure you're following the socials, liking, retweeting, getting word out about these Academy games so that we can hype them up. And all this work that we're putting onto the show, then you get to enjoy it from home as well. So, Pat the LCS on Twitter. Make sure that you're following it right now. But, Mazel, that's all we got for this initial little break.
I think it's time. I think
all right, we practiced this once.
I'm not gonna say what I said in rehearsal.
We're doing it. I'm making you do it right now. We're gonna send it over to a short break before we're back with both of our streams individually on our channels. We'll see you there.
Let's make like a banana and split.
Now the touch that I came from, and the pain that keeps keeping me strong, and the hurt that you cause in my soul. Better count on the seconds you go, for you're nothing but a memory gold, nothing but gone. 'Cause I'm an animal, I come back like a storm. Gonna break through the diamonds you've been putting on me. I won't stop till I know that I'm the world. Gonna take back the things that I own. Don't you tell me that you think that I'm wrong. 'Cause I'm never gonna stop, I'm never gonna stop, I'm never give up. Don't you tell me when you think that I'm So I'll stop till I know that I'm the world. Don't you tell me that you think that
Hello, everybody, and welcome. The games are getting underway here, and we are getting ready on the broadcast. I'm your host on stream 1-4 today. You can call me Kangas, and I'm joined by everyone's favorite esports caster, Boomer, over here, a.k.a. Mr. Cubby as your color caster, and Mr. President, Rafa. How's it going, man?
I'm Mr.
You're Mr.
President. When did we establish this?
That was Darshan.
That is Darshan.
Yeah, Darshan's
But
the
we
president.
voted as an Academy broadcast who would represent us. So, that's on you.
When? Whoa! I wasn't present for this meeting. I don't want to take on all this responsibility. That's
You were
that's
kind
why
of
we
in Disney World.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's
Sorry.
what happens when you
Hate to
take a
break it to you.
vacation.
You
a
didn't
week
fill me
before,
in.
Broadcast
Oh
starts.
my god.
But Cubby, you been up to anything over the offseason? Anything fun going on?
No, I'm ready for League of Legends to get back into action, and glad we get to see some of the most promising talent that we have in NA hitting the Rift, whether that's Bjergsen or the two brand new mid laners that we have hitting the Rift in this series. Academy's back. I'm really excited.
It is back, everybody. So let's start talking about it. First matchup of the day, Dignitas Academy going up against FlyQuest Academy. I'm going to start talk about Dignitas first because we've already seen one of these players in the lock-in tournament. Cubby, I want to pass this one to you first. What's new with Dignitas Academy coming into the new year?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is a newer lineup, and it's interesting coming into this game because it's two teams with rather similar builds, right? We have bot lanes that are the same. These are the only two bot lanes that are the same starting this week compared to the rest of the league where every other team is a different bot lane. So I thought I'd catch up with a couple of the bot laners. First off, in Spawn, some new teammates, a very different position for Spawn specifically this year as he's coming in, as more of a veteran for this team. Whereas last year, keep in mind, when we were with Dignitas in the spring, it was Lorlo, it was Acadian, it was Yasui. Spawn was the new guy, right? So he's kind of getting used to taking up this mantle of being more of a mentor. And I think something that I really liked out of the Dig camp is they put up a great video earlier. You can check out on their socials, Dignitas LOL. And you can see, like within those takes that the team's joking around, having a lot of fun. Deos is definitely someone that is high energy, very wholesome, very uplifting person to be around. And that's not just something that we see in the interview. That's something that Spawn's kind of seeing every single day they go into practice. So they've been getting a couple weeks under their belts. And he says that they're kind of a dark horse at the moment. They feel like they might be able to upset some people because of the low expectations. And with the expectations we set for Dignitas, they're really at zero. This is one of the younger rosters, one of the last rosters to be put together. So I'm more interested just to see how they do in our first day of Academy play.
What about you, Rafa? Got any hot takes on Dignitas Academy coming in? Because I'm not going to lie, I kind of echo Cubby's sentiment. When I first looked at this roster, I had them pretty low in my power rankings, but the more I look at them, the more I just want to believe. Can you make me believe?
Well, first of all, I just want to expose everyone on the cast and say that during the off-season, y'all had Dignitas ranked as the 10th team going into power rankings for the season. I had them as 9th, just to spite you guys.
So much faith.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we didn't even know their roster until like 2 weeks ago.
I have more faith in them than you two put combined. But, you know, that being said, it's okay, because one of the main players that I'm really looking at that is being brought up into this roster is my boy XU. Now, I've known him since 2019, the collegiate days. He was playing over on UCal, and he was known for his Lee Sin, which in their second game of the lock-in tournament, they pulled out and brought to great success, picking up one of their few wins as Dignitas during that lock-in tournament. And when we look at the video that you referenced as well, Cubby, I mean, this team is all about having a good time. And I think when you have someone like Deus, who has a great experience coaching from the amateur scene, all the way from Mirage Esports from last year and the year prior as well, you bring this up into an academy roster and you have a fresh perspective. And now you still have, you know, players like JJ and Spawn who can still guide this team. And of course, I'm looking at this mid 2v2 between XU and Darkwings. Even though this is their first time on a roster together, Darkwings is no stranger to facilitating strong junglers when you look at Darkwings' past.
That's the Dignitas Academy. The mid lane, I'm happy you brought us to there because that was what I was most excited to look at. So, Cubby, I'm going to pass this one to you, and I'm going to actually ask you to please explain yourself for this tweet here, and then Diamond's response to it, because you didn't have FlyQuest too high in your power rankings either. So what's the deal?
I know that's in your background. If you actually check Diamond's Twitter, I think he took it pretty personally. He said, get ready to tune in for some C-tier gameplay today, as he was promoting Academy. In all seriousness, so I think this is an interesting storyline because Diamond, as a player, every split he has played in Academy, he has won all but one in terms of regular season and the playoff standings. I think Diamond's been fantastic. I do like Tomo and Diamond as a bot lane, but they have 3 new pieces around them. And, you know, talking with Tomo, he was really honest with me about the start of the year. He said, you know what? I'm in a different position this year. Practice has been a little bit slower for us in terms of getting going, right? Yuji has a language barrier. He's actually originally from Mongolia. We're going to have a lot more info to fill you in on Yuji later. But, you know, he was pretty honest about where they sit at the moment. But I think the fact that Tomo and Diamond really are the pieces that they're putting the developmental pieces around, these guys have been rock solid throughout all of Academy. They're one of the few returning bot lanes this year. And what Tomo said, he's like, it's my time to make a name for myself. He used a few words that I would get fined if I used on here, but I feel like Tomo, he's really his time to shine. He understands that, and I really want to see if they can step up and help out in the early season, not only to get some wins on the board, but also help develop the new people that they have around them.
We're going to find out here shortly because I'm hearing that we are ready to hop into pick and ban. So these are the teams to kick off the new season, everybody. FlyQuest Academy versus Dignitas Academy coming up right now.
Oh my god, Cubby, it's our time to shine! We get rid of the bald man, we just push him all the way over to the other side, and then we get to...
Apparently we were told, and we're not actually transitioning now, so I can hear everything you're saying.
No!
Wow.
Oh
wow.
no!
We were told that when we transitioned that Kangas would be muted. So Rafa was really just copping out there, trying to, you know, get a cheap shot on a Kangas.
Rafa, what did I do? And what can I do to make up for this?
I love you, buddy. It's just all banter, man. And relax.
All right.
It's just... all good.
All right, now I believe I'm ready to fade out into the nether and pass it over to the two of you. I'm going to keep my eye on you, Rafa.
I'm walking on thin ice, Cubby. This is not a good start for us on the Academy broadcast, at least for me. I'm trash talking our host. You took a nap in the shower today. We're both taking L's in the early morning, but hopefully...
Come on, man.
Yeah, you know I gotta do it to you. But we started off into the draft phase already between Dignitas and FlyQuest Academy. Now, a lot of mid lane bans already out the gate here, Cubby. Twisted Fate, Victor, and LeBlanc being taken off the board here.
And I'm curious, the pick that's been dominating the early meta has been that Corki. Well, with both of these taken, off the table, it could be a first pick. We have seen it. I'm not a huge fan of the Corki first pick. Something I am a fan of, though, is actually first pick Karma.
Karma has been heavily prioritized. I know you've been staying up late like a madman watching all the LCK games, playing and piloting the Karma around a lot of long-range champions, which things like the Ezreal and the Corki are still up and available, but the AD carry priority for FlyQuest is going to be Jhin for Tomo, and they snag up the Corki as well.
Yeah, and, as long as we still have Kangas here, that is a lot of range on the side of FlyQuest, and I'm kind of curious, Steve, from what you saw this past week of LCS. You got anything up the sleeve? You got any special strats you've been prepping for these guys?
Out there, it's important. I'm just wondering, is this going to be the Corki top lane? Because we did actually see Corki flex around a little bit in lock-in. And I mean, range can go anywhere in the meta right now.
Could be it. Speaking of range, on the side of Dignitas, that is a lock-in of the Ezreal. We've seen Ezreal Karma be utilized as a bot lane, has a lot of poke and a lot of priority and a lot of scaling as the game goes on as well. And Darkwings locks in the Silas. So Darkwings as a player, in the 41 games he played in Amateur last year, he had 20 unique champions. Now, this Silas, he played in Proving Grounds, unofficial pentakill in a Game 3 to make sure that his team, AoE Esports, avoided elimination. Definitely something to highlight, and the Enchantresses, they're going to be matched. Looks like Academy's closer to the LCK meta as we have a Yuumi coming in.
Yeah, this is pretty much... This is just what I saw the other day on the LCK VODs on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I'm looking at mirror bot lanes from that instance. The Silas really is the only kind of oddball pick out of the meta here, but for Darkwings, this is a comfort pick that we've seen time and time again throughout the 2021 season, as well as kind of inklings. If you were tuned into the Red Bull solo queue tournament that he participated just a while back ago, but we're heading into the second round of bans here, Cubby, and this is where they really need to crack down on the remaining jungle and top laner picks for both teams.
Yep, neither role locked in for both teams, of course. Darkwings, that Silas can be flexed technically. We are expecting it to go mid, where it's a pretty favorable matchup into the Corki. I actually want to see if Dignitas gets rid of any of these like huge, beefy tanks. I think that something like Sion for FlyQuest would make a lot of sense with the early composition that they're showing. You put Sion in front of Jhin, Corki, Yuumi, you're going to have a tough time, especially given the fact that the three champions you have locked in right now on the side of Dignitas would really struggle into a Sion. This is something where it's not a lot of percentage HP damage that can come through. Sion's just a huge stat check. Definitely something you can use against Ezreal and Silas. I want to see if that ends up being the call for FlyQuest, but instead looks like that Xin Zhao priority going to take.
Lee Sin being taken off the board. I mean, they know that Lawrence had a big game on the LCS stage with that pick, and it's one of his signature bread and butter. Xin Zhao being taken off the board means that you're kind of limited on the options in terms of aggressive junglers that can match the early priority of something like Lee Sin or Xin Zhao. Jarvan does offer a lot of gank strength, not necessarily superior 1v1 combat, but this is going to be XU facilitating the rest of the map.
I do like this coming out of XU. You have a way now to get on top of that Jhin, and also terrain choke against Xin Zhao can be rather nice as the game goes on. Gwen going to be locked in here for Eclipse. This is a champion that we saw Eclipse play a little bit last year, but was more known for the gangplank, the set Renekton in that top lane. Is now Philip gets chance for the counter pick, and Kennen looks to be the option here, as that is hovered and locked in.
I actually want to hop in here for a bit, because what I'm seeing here is kind of a throwback to the style of Academy at the beginning of summer 2021. Cubby, I remember you and I were tracking this a lot, the Enchanter meta with these junglers that can get aggressive. And obviously, like you had already been saying, we've seen this in other professional leagues, so it almost feels like a kind of a throwback to last year Academy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that, early season, I think range creep is real. I think Corki's a perfect pick for early season to kind of help these teams get started, just because it's so obvious to fight on the package timers, and also you have so much range as the game goes on. When teams are less coordinated, range becomes a little bit stronger. And I think diving into this draft, FlyQuest definitely has the scaling. I think Gwen might be able to save them in the side lane in the terms of Dignitas as this game goes on, but I want to see if FlyQuest can survive this early game, because you have a Jarvan, you have lanes that are gankable. I want to see if Axio and Darkwings can set up that mid-jungle duo, because they have prio in both matchups, and if they are able to get Corki behind, if they are able to pull off these dives, it's really the only way we've been able to see teams consistently beat Corki across the world.
The other thing, too, to consider is that between Darkwings and XU here, you have so much crowd control to be able to set up. So even if it's not targeted towards SpireX in the mid lane and trying to get kills or summoner spells onto Corki, you throw this duo into the jungle and evade onto Yuji. If this flashes down, Xin Zhao is not a champion that is known for escaping fights. He usually wants to get into fights, and he's trying to commit to all in. But if it's a numbers disadvantage, things are going to end up terrible for him.
As much as I've loved hearing the two of you break down Champ Select, I am hearing now I'm going to fade out and give the show over to the two of you. So, gentlemen, getting into game number one. Take it away.
Goodbye, Kangas. I'm assuming.
Now you can talk trash.
Are we good now? I don't believe
now
it.
you can talk trash.
See,
Robert.
I feel like if I trash talk Kangas like 3 times, he's gonna appear behind me in the green screen. So, and I don't want to manifest that kind of bad voodoo.
That is why we have the green screens. Fun fact.
So just so we can, throw up images throughout the season.
I get roasted by Diamond. It's all good. So we take that in stride. If anyone's gonna chirp me, I'm the first person to have it be a player, and I'm happy to eat my words. And we have to see if either of these teams can step up this game and make us eat our words and expectations. We are diving into game 1 of Academy, baby. Rafa, we are back.
It feels so good to be back, Cubby. Feels good to be back in the groove and swing of things. Definitely got some practice in earlier this week. It was definitely rough on the first couple of tries, but I imagine that some of the pros who are also getting back in the swing of things, you just got to get some reps in. We've had our reps, and I'm pretty sure when we have someone like Kangas, he's definitely all about reps. But for the first few minutes of the game, I really want to lay the expectations for what the audience should be expecting to see from junglers like XU and UG.
I really want to see XU get aggressive around this mid-jungle duo. You have Silas, he has gank assist, and even, late invade spot side, right? You have Karma Ezreal poke. It looks like that's what Dignitas is going for now, as they get a later ward. But actually, we want to spend this time to educate our viewers about someone they may not know a lot about, and that is Yuji, the jungler for FlyQuest, as I think he might be the most unknown player that was picked up in terms of NA Academy, and that is because he is actually originally from Mongolia. But with a 150 ping from Mongolia, he hit Challenger on EUS, NA, and the Ionian server, according to his director at Bethany Esports, who originally brought him over. Now UG finds himself on FlyQuest. He peaked number 5 on the solo queue ladder last spring. He finished, I believe, at 11th. And this is Xin Zhao. We have to look out for the Zed in future games, but I know that from talking with Armeo, the 2 people that he respects most in solo queue are actually Yuji and Tomio. So I think it's actually... I'm really excited to see this guy play. I have high expectations for him as time moves on. He has great mechanics. That's why he's on this team. And I just want to really see how he develops in this release.
For most LCS audience viewers who are tuning into Academy, they've already gotten a taste of XU and what he can do, even on the big stage. This is really everyone's first, in fact, this is even my first view of UG, but XU trying to go for a delayed invade. However, that early ward from the bottom side of Diamond and Tomo spots him out, and they might be able to pull a trap.
It is spotted, but Karma Ezreal do have priority, and so XU, guessing that he's on the Wolves, but doesn't know that he's been spotted as UG making his way over, sees him.
UG knows he's right there. He sees him with the sweeper, but I guess he had confidence that Tomo and Diamond will be able to roam on forward. But now XU having to flash away. UG flashing out of the initial engage, but knowing that XU had no way out other than burning that summoner spell. The rest of Dignitas, they have a lot of the pressure to be able to push in the waves, but the rest of FlyQuest do respond defensively.
Get able to protect the camps. UG does lose that flash, but honestly, early game, that's not as bad as losing all those camps over the J4. So I think the fact that FlyQuest, once again, able to weather the storm, this is something that we're going to really be looking out for from FlyQuest early. As you can see, we said that there was priority in that mid-jungle matchup. XU already trying to get off in the face of UG. We can see how aggressively Darkwings can play when that jungler is spotted.
And watch that, both of these junglers just finishing up the Scuttle Crab. I imagine that maybe there's an opportunity for UG to roam on over and get the summoner spell out of Darkwings, but XU, sustaining fully back up, is taking advantage of the priority that Eclipse has gotten in his lane against Philip. He's going to take away some Krugs, get a little bit of counter jungling in, and also some more information on UG's presence.
Once again, important that XU is able to at least try and stay ahead, but I think the fact that, they weren't able to pull off a dive or they weren't able to find any kills with that first clear, actually really good news for the side of FlyQuest, as if this Corki is allowed to scale up, is allowed to get those items, we've seen the damage that he has been able to do in every region across the world. No surprise we're seeing Corki yet again in Academy. I really think the onus is still on Dignitas to try and push that pace early.
And not only the Corki as well, you have to worry about if you're Dignitas the later the game goes on, but also the Yuumi. Because the Yuumi is a giant stat stick that you can just stick on top of Corki, or even this Xin Zhao, who, UG, from the tales that I've heard, because remember, this is still my first time watching UG competitively. I didn't get a chance to watch him during the late collegiate season of last year. Yuji likes to be aggressive. He likes to farm up, he likes to get a lot of resources, and if he's fully empowered with something similar to what Kangas was alluding to during the draft phase of kind of the early summer 2021 jungle plus enchanter meta, that we can really see a return form for Yuji in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see. I think that the fact that Yuji's just, been able to, trade evenly is a big win. I mean, when you have a Jin Yuumi lane against Ezreal Karma, if you're able to get those bot side camps, like, that is a win for the side of FlyQuest. So, even game early, but I really want to see what Dignitas can do off of this base. XU is going to clean up his bot side camps, but I think that with Ezreal Karma, you have a chance to take an early dragon before this Rift Herald spawns, and then try and utilize that to be able to contest Rift Herald as well, because this lane has so much push, so much priority, that it really does enable you to rotate around the map and support those other plays early.
Yeah, and look at the state of bot lane right now. Toma, Diamond haven't gotten their first back off yet, whereas Spawn has been able to. JJ held the lane so that his AD carry could be stronger, and now this 3v3, if you look at the stat-wise, Spawn will be a stronger marksman for this all 3v3, but it comes down to execution here. XU
I know he's there.
Still doesn't have flash. Yuji is there to answer for the counter gank. Might have to use the flag and drag to get out of harm's way, but they're trying to commit to this. Yuji will go down. It's first blood for Spawn. They turn everything around. Double kill. JJ will fall to Tomo. Gets double sums out of the way. Tomo, is he going to survive? A flash from Spawn. One more on attack. Oh, not enough. The last health one. Woo! Deadly Flourish. Welcome to Academy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the action.
I know that Tomo. He said, I always ask players if anything else they'd like to share. How Tomo wrapped his messages up was, it's about damn time people know who the F I am. And guess what, Tomo? That's a good start to 2022. Beautiful play coming out from the AD carry of FlyQuest.
Covey, you got a B button now. You got to use that to success here. But yes, that is the message that Tomo sends right there. The fact that Tomo is able to salvage, take 2 kills off of that, prevents Dignitas from being able to translate that advantage into a free dragon right off the bat. However, still the pressure is enough that they're going to do it anyway. But it's nice for FlyQuest that Tomo doesn't go down and is able to secure a little bit of gold in those 2 kills to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind compared to Spawn.
Oh, that's such a beautiful outplay coming out of Tomo. I just love how he used the heal to bait out Spawn going in, able to turn it, land skill shots. Really good. And this, I'm interested now to see if Herald becomes more contested. Because we do see Philip able to get this crash in. That means that Dignitas could easily build up a slow push here in the top side, but he's actually going to sneak in a base to make sure that he's ready to go for this Rift Herald fight. Depending on how bot lane goes, we could see Jin or Yuumi rotate and FlyQuest go to contest this Rift Herald. Keep in mind, we should see Spyrax base here to get that package.
If lock-in tournament or any other part of the world about Corki has taught us anything, please respect the package. But I know that there's been talk about ways that teams need to play around it. Darkwings, careful. There's a Xin Zhao right there. A flash early from Yuji is going to force Darkwings his own hand. He's running towards the aid of XU. XU has his own flash as well. And Darkwings doesn't necessarily have a impactful ulti, just poke with the rockets that he stole from Spyrax, and it's going to make sure that Yuji doesn't get anything out of it.
Hey man, his rockets are better than Corki's. He gets that AP ratio, you know, a little bit of the bonus.
I mean, it's not like huge, but yeah, technically you're right.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. We'll chalk that up for 1 dub on my side. That said, Spyrax...
Are you down that bad that you're just trying to force any W's you can get, Cubby?
Yeah, absolutely. Spyrax taking the package. Huge. Now we see Yuji try and take the skirmish. I really want to see how Spyrax uses this first package. I think it's really important to make sure that whenever you pick this up, you're doing something proactive with it, because this ability is so broken. It has the knockback, has the slow, deals more damage than a Rumble ult. Yes, all those things exist in a passive. Gonna have to see if Spyrax can use this to contest the first Herald. The bot lane for the side of Dignitas is not rotating over. TP is gonna be burned from the Silas, but Spyrax should be able to rotate and support this, but Yuji is doing it on vision.
Philip does have Slicing Maelstrom available. Eclipse also took a lot of damage in that trade. Doesn't have any more. So, oh, okay, but Philip will walk right into the waiting arms of XU. A Flash Needle work. Flash from XU. Cannot get in range. Oh, tries to go for the Dragon Strike. It's not going to be enough. And now Yuji and Spyrex are in pursuit. This is going to be bad news. Definitely one of these members is going down, and Eclipse is going to be routed off by that package from Spyrex. Beautifully done. No other summoner spells to get them out of harm's way. XU trying to buy some time, but I imagine that he is going down as well. Just dodges out on one rocket. Wait a minute. Spyrex still has flash, but he didn't believe that he needed it, and it looks like XU will be able to survive.
That's not worth it for the side of FlyQuest, because guess what? Darkwings, he said, all right, team, good luck up there. I'm taking the rest of this Rift Herald. So he is sitting on Shelly in his back pocket as the Silas was able to solo that out, and FlyQuest, they rolled the dice, but were not able to find enough, and I think they end up losing out big on that play. First package only gets first kill. You give up the neutral for it, not worth it.
It definitely seemed way more disastrous than it actually turned out to be for Dignitas, and at the end of the day, things are still pretty much even across the board. Rift Herald advantage is available for Dignitas now. The question is, you have 3.5 minutes to use it. The question is, where do they want to plant it?
If I'm on the side of Dignitas, I want to plant that thing mid. I think that knocking down the mid outer and trying to really pressure Spyrax and get more access to the camps while you are strong as the Silas could all be good things for Dignitas. With that said, gonna have to see if they are aligned, as Darkwings has just been gifted over that blue buff from the looks of things. And I think importantly enough, Spyrax has completed that mirror mana. This spike for Corki, it's not fully evolved, but when you obtain this item, you stop really having mana problems in lane. So this does enable Spyrax to be a lot more sticky. He's only down 5 CS, so he's really ahead of the curve at this point. And I think that things just start to get more and more grim for Dignitas as this one runs on.
It's always a W as a mid laner when you don't depend on blue buff to constantly stay in lane. However, XU trying to get frisky with Yuji in the jungle is trying to fight back. 3 talent strike will commence, but XU dodges out on the deadly flourish, locking Yuji down with that cataclysm. Yuji trying to go in once again, but XU is going to be the one that takes him down, and not even the curtain call will make its way because it's Dignitas that protects the jungler.
Yeah, JJ even flashing in front of his new rookie on the squad, saying, I got you, man. You know, you're in my team. I'm going to help lead you to victory and help save you from these curtain calls. Is able to pick that up, and now bot lane.
A lot of damage on Atomo. He's got to run away. Still last 4th bullet shot, but neither JJ or Spawn are close to death. Atomo's going to have to back his way out of this one. Push advantage is going to go over to the Dignitas bot lane. Nothing they can really do to capitalize on him. Maybe get it in a reset. But if you look towards the top side of the map, Cubby, Eclipse taking his recall in, getting ready as the second dragon is about to spawn.
I still think it's really important that Dignitas is able to stack this. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse in saying that, you know, you have to beat Corki before he scales. But it really is that important as we do have the dragon being started by XU, given the pressure coming out from Spawn and JJ, who I know he did put a big spotlight on the fact that this is our only 2 returning bot lanes at the moment, given the fact that Ayla was just promoted to Academy, and, you know, some of the visa issues that teams are still running into and getting all their rosters over. We did put a little bit of a spotlight to see if these players, you know, can perform, can show why they are back on their same squads this time around, and props to both bot lanes, frankly. I think Spawn and JJ have recovered nicely from that misplay they had in the original skirmish.
You know, everyone's just getting a little ambitious and excited. It is day 1 of the Academy Spring Split. You know, I've made worse mistakes. You know, I'm not a pro player, but I can definitely understand the sentiment. You just wanted to get in there. The Rift Herald being dropped here by Dark Wings. What? Come on, man.
I played jungle with you once. That's all I need to know. As we are going to see only 2 points taken from the Rift. Dark Wings just has to clean that one up a little bit more, and XU still keeping this focus on the bot lane, but will be spotted here, and Yuji is here to hover as well.
They didn't break open the mid turret quite yet, so doesn't look like Darkwings will be able to collect the last plate before the turret plating at 14 minutes does fall. But XU putting a lot of attention on this bottom side of the map does naturally call for Yuji to come in as a defensive response. He's going to camp out here in the bush, make sure that XU has officially left. Because JJ and Spawn have ways of being able to disengage as long as they don't step too far forward, just maintaining this range and poke advantage that they have.
I really like this, though, from Yuji, and they're just going to pull the trigger. They find the root.
JJ is going to get locked down. No flash available. Yuji is there, and, you know, I may have capture cursed them. That's my bad, Dignitas. Curtain call, third bullet, one more shot, a flash from Spawn. Make sure that he dodges out on the fatal damage that could have been his life.
I like that look from Yuji a lot. They just saw XU leave. They know that JJ doesn't have flash up. They go directly for him. Is now Diamond. He's dead.
Yeah, Diamond already being CC'd, interrupted. There's nowhere for him to go. Next, he's like, you know what? Why don't I just lock up 2 for 3? Triple kill! Lawrence XU Zoo on the board.
So that flash EQ from XU, it catches Diamond off guard. He wasn't able to reattach to Tomo. He gets caught out, then Tomo just instantly gets jumped on. XU already a little bit ahead of the curve before this, having the Gore Drinker, but now has 4 kills to his name. As that LCS experience has been paying off as XU going off in his first Academy game.
Dude, XU tweeted out earlier today, he's like, I got my 1 headshot on Santorin. I'm now looking for another one on the UG. And so far, he's picked up 2 this game. And even Eclipse feeling a little ambitious and confident in himself. I think it's the morale boost from across the map. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go for an all-in on Philip. They force out the Slicing Maelstrom. And while Needlework is now down for Eclipse, that means no team-fighting AoE ability from FlyQuest.
And I think importantly, too, for the side of FlyQuest, Philip doesn't have that teleport anymore. As
Dark Wings taking the last chapter. Oh, Diamond's got to be dead once again. Rooted up as Yumi. But a package from Spyrax separates the members of Dignitas. It's a pivot here. XU is in the heap of trouble. Has the Flag and Dragon be able to get over the wall? Spyrax is still putting out so much damage. Massive shutdown. JJ finally finds the killing blow. Will send Spyrax back to the fountain, but Spawn is now in trouble. UG and Tomo definitely have him locked down. And just like that, as we were singing praise about Dignitas, it's FlyQuest that answered back.
We talked about FlyQuest missing that TP in the top side, but they tried to pull that play off with the package, and this time around, Spyrax makes the most out of that package as he TPs to the fight, and he's the one who's able to turn things in favor of FlyQuest. As it's been a back-and-forth game early here, Rafa, but what we established at the start was the fact that if FlyQuest is able to go deep with his Corki, guess what? That's pretty good for them. And if I'm FlyQuest and I'm sitting at an even game state going into the 17-minute mark with a Corki Yumi on my team, I'm feeling really good about where things are at the moment.
And if you got a chance to see Spyrax during last year over in his collegiate time at Maryville University, you know that when the game goes late, this is where Spyrax is thriving.
And I think Spyrax, another new player making his Academy debut in this one, but I think that people, don't realize he had 2 accounts in the top 30. He was almost invited to scouting grounds. He actually got caught by the one-trick rule. And it wasn't because he's a one-trick. It's because he didn't have 15 games on 4 champions. So it was like an inverse one-trick, right? He was playing too many things. And I think that's something that makes both of these mid-laners really interesting, as 2 of the new ones that came from the Proving Ground system that are making their debut. The sense that they both play a lot of unique champions. They have very deep champion pools, something we're not used to saying about, Academy players making their debut.
It's so cool to see it when it comes from mid laners as well, because when you looked at the amateur season from last year, a lot of the big mid laner names that were on the top of the amateur teams, it wasn't necessarily Dark Wings or Spyrax. They came from some of the, I would say, top 6, top 8 amateur teams. Whereas the other ones that we might think about, we refer to APA, we refer to Bradley. Bradley, Team Liquid Academy, now top laner, right? APA over at Maryville University. But Dark Wings and Spyrax have so much to prove, and they have a lot they can show us for in store, as this Rift Herald being taken by FlyQuest means that FlyQuest can also collapse onto Dignitas. Package, not necessarily available, but when you have a cat on your back, you are quite a threatening force.
And I think the saving grace here for the side of Dignitas is that they are now on Soul Point. And this is Ocean Soul. They did a really good job using their bot lane priority early to get the first 2 dragons. That time around, FlyQuest opting to trade the Rift Herald for the dragon as well. And Darkwing's also able to crash away. But the bot lane that Spyrax now has to clean up. They can try and snowball this mid, and Dignitas, actually off of some map play early, able to net themselves, I think, a really nice advantage, picking up a turret, going off a wave, and make sure they get Soul Point on the dragons.
FlyQuest still have the scaling advantage on their side. However, it's not that fun to play against an Ocean Soul empowered team, because as you is you duke out and go over the long haul game, which is definitely where FlyQuest want to be able to make advantage with their long-range poke. If Dignitas trade back, then they just get the heal on up thanks to that Ocean Soul. So now I wonder how FlyQuest shift their priorities of vision control on the map, because it's very been top-centric for the first 19 minutes of the game. They need to now shift it over towards the bottom half of the map so that this Ocean Soul does not get secured by Dignitas.
I mean, it's flashing red lights now that we're just going to fight at that 4th dragon. And that's pretty much where, I don't want to say the game's going to be decided, but I think that Dignitas almost has to pick that one up. It's their best chance to give themselves a winning game state. And so I think that's going to be the major point of contention that we have coming up. That is 3 minutes, 30 seconds away. Important item spikes coming in for FlyQuest before that fight as well. We're about to have an evolved Mirror Mana on the side of Corki, as Ezreal has already evolved his. And also Darkwing sitting on 2 items with that Zanya's Hourglass. Gonna have to see if he's able to play make a couple nice ultimates that he can grab to get good use out of that in the Kennen and the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and don't even forget about the last chapter as well. You're getting a free AoE route.
I always try and forget about the cat. That's sorry.
It's okay, Cubby. Yeah, it happens. Now, Philip might be in a bad spot, and I love this from Dignitas, taking away summoner spells from one of the playmakers from FlyQuest that could turn around a fight in 3 minutes at that dragon.
I also respect the fact that Philip flashed out early, just kind of understanding where the map was, but a little bit of an awkward state right now with him and Spyrax both being in the same lane, as Spyrax is going to try and fix that wave. Will mean, though, that Eclipse in this bot lane able to crash an extra wave, as thank you to our observers for highlighting that one. And I think Eclipse on this Gwen is the one thing that might be able to break what FlyQuest wants to do. The one champion that can really survive all the damage that's going to come out from Corki and Jhin late game if you're able to use that Shroud correctly. So the fact that Eclipse has done a good job of farming up early, really the way that Dignitas can try and fight all this scaling on the side of FlyQuest.
Yeah, you know, Xin Zhao has the Crescent Guard, and that's an ultimate ability. And then Gwen comes in as a champion. It's like, let me just power creep that and have it on a 12-second cooldown. You know, it's just no big deal. Hashtag I hate Gwen, but it's okay. Dignitas, 2 minutes on the clock for this dragon. Already noting that Philip's flash is down. It will not be available for the beginning of that dragon fight. It's going to take about another 4 minutes before it's finally back up. Dignitas, I want to see if they can find ways to force FlyQuest to burn other summoner spells before them, because then it makes targets like Tomo and Spyrax much more susceptible to a Cataclysm play.
I think the important summoner or like cooldowns that Dignitas could go for, I think Philip's ultimate, if you're able to get that one out of him, or burn a Wasp chapter, I mean, those are the tools that FlyQuest are going to be using to try and peel back, try and get this big front line of Silas and Jarvan off their carries in Corki and Jhin. But we do see Dignitas resetting first. I really like this from Dignitas, because if FlyQuest was able to get in the river first with Corki, that could be really bad for the side of Dignitas, right? That is rockets shooting out from the Fog of War. So with them being able to reset and hopefully taking control of the mid lane here, there is a Rift Herald that's going to help prevent that for this way. But for the next one, they should be able to with 4 mid. This is really going to help them dodge out on all the poke that Dignitas could be lacing out at them. Make sure they're a little bit healthier for this dragon fight, where, of course, they are fighting for soul.
Watch the vision control now being set up for Dignitas. 45 seconds on the clock before this dragon spawns. No one really has control of the river or the blue buff entrance quite yet, but Dignitas are starting to roam over right now to secure it.
All right, Spyrax just got packaged. They need to worry about this cooldown, right? This is where FlyQuest can try and get a winning fight around this package. We talked about how important these timers are. Let's see if Spyrax can land a good one, and if this can help FlyQuest win this fight from behind.
Everus comes out from Dark Wings to XU. Oh, he just flashes right on Tomo. Tomo still has flash available. He's going to have to use it preemptively. Gets out of harm's way. Curtain call now onto the other side of the fight, trying to peel back the members of Dignitas. Dark Wings, meanwhile, fought with Yuji and forced in the flash as well.
They did not get a lot out of that package, and Gwen can just base and TP back to this fight.
Oh, he's
actually
looking for the
going
flank.
for the flank. I like this.
Watch for Tomo. Remember, Tomo, they just burned his flash. If Dignitas can coordinate around Eclipse, Tomo will be a sitting duck and no way to get out. Slicing Maelstrom is still on the line here.
Look at the angles. Oh, Philip, he actually had to burn a solo wall. This is so bad for FlyQuest. They're about to get chased down.
And Dignitas are now slowly creeping in. Darkwings with the flash, but Tomo is able to dodge it just thanks to the movement speed. But he has the Crescent Guard, and he has the Zonya's Hourglass to buy time for the rest of Dignitas. And now it's only 3 members of FlyQuest available. Oh no, this is just absolute disaster. They cannot salvage this. UG is gone. This Ocean Soul is going over to Dignitas.
I really like how Dignitas played out that fight. I mean, using the Karma movement speed, changing up the angles, finding flanks, they were able to just milk the cooldowns one by one from FlyQuest, where in the end they were left with nothing, and Dignitas just routs them in the team fight as they take that Ocean Soul and now sprint towards the Baron.
It's not contestable whatsoever. Philip and Spyrax do have teleport, but they cannot, on a solo mission, especially without package, especially without Slicing Maelstrom, even dream of taking or trying to fight Dignitas at this Baron. And now, even though we talked about the scaling advantages that FlyQuest have, this is going to be the strongest point of the game for Dignitas. And if they execute it correctly, Cubby, I truly believe this is where we see them start closing out the game.
It's a pretty bad roll for the side of FlyQuest, the fact that Ocean Soul came up. But props to Dignitas, right? They played those early dragons with that bot lane priority really nicely. It paid off for them. I really like how they executed that last fight as well. And now, I mean, they just get to reap the rewards of having the early game team comp that was able to execute enough plays. And it didn't happen in the early game, right? It happened in the mid game for Dignitas, which I think is a really nice sign of some creative problem solving.
Now Dignitas starting to push their vision line through this bottom half of the jungle, setting up for Eclipse to safely split push on this side of the map. He doesn't have teleport available anymore, but Eclipse, 2 items, Nashers and the Riftmaker, a very powerful force that has to be dealt with, and I'm pretty sure he could fight a 1v2 for the most part safely, and this will open up opportunities for Dignitas to at least siege on the other half of the map.
And you can see Dignitas going with that split with XU just bouncing in between the lanes as Eclipse takes down that top inner turret. Now the mid inner is the new focus and should fall pretty soon as long as they're able to sidestep enough of these rockets from Spyrax. And the poke from Spawn, even greater than that of the Corki at the moment, as Spawn doing a nice job of stepping up this game and helping Dignitas take this next turret.
I know we were kind of referring to Spawn as, you know, definitely one of the more experienced members of this roster, which is completely fair. But remember, this is still just his second year of Academy, and he has stepped up massively in this game.
Yeah, and I know that Spawn was talking a lot about, you know, just stepping up in the team, right? Taking up that mantle of some leadership, trying to help these new guys out, and good to see him helping them out with some of his own play, as well as I'm sure his words in the comms, as Dignitas still playing out this Baron slowly, just the 4-1 setup. Darkwing's actually waiting to TP. Gonna TP mid. His current call is the answer.
A lot of damage on the JJ, but thankfully he's the enchanter, so he's staying in the backline. XU takes about half of his HP, though, from that last curtain call bullet. There's still Slicing Maelstrom available, Crescent Guard available as well. FlyQuest don't necessarily want to have to give up this inhibitor, but so far the strength of Dignitas is undeniable, and they're not going to be able to stop it. Inhibitor 1 will fall. Eclipse was making work on the bottom inhibitor turret, and that will also bite the dust.
I think important to note, in the mid lane, you can see 2 red wards that are hanging around. Philip did have Flash, TP, and Ultimate. FlyQuest deciding not to use those. As if Philip went for that fight and they lose the fight, that game's over. So they're waiting for a better window. I think that was a nice opportunity, potentially, with JJ and XU being so low. FlyQuest, though, decide to fight another day as they potentially wait for this Elder Dragon, as I think that is the only way to beat Ocean Soul, I think, is to breathe fire. So I think that's what FlyQuest is going for here.
Yeah, you gotta get them to the execute threshold before they can heal and sustain back up, right? And we'll have to find out if FlyQuest can pull off a miracle in about 2.5 minutes. But I also want to look at how Dignitas are able to control the situation, because take a look right now. The vision control is still on Dignitas' side in that jungle quadrant, as our observer beautifully giving us a panorama view of that blue quadrant jungle. Thank you. Shoutouts to Lorne. Goated observer, by the way.
We're going to have to take a deep breath here as both teams now coming off reset, looking to meet again. Dignitas now looking to take down that last outer turret, or inner turret, I should say, that they have to go. Checking all the boxes, and I don't think there's going to be a huge commit from them on the push. They need to be careful. Any fight that they drop to FlyQuest could be extra punishing right now, given the fact that it would enable FlyQuest to get in the river first for this Elder Dragon, which is going to be the next big point of contention between both of these teams. Baron does spawn 2 minutes from now, but Elder 30 seconds before, as it looks like FlyQuest just going to see this. Darkwing's not going to find the angle.
Poke coming out, though, from Spawn. True Shot Barrage doesn't get that much damage out on the Spyrex thanks to the help of Diamond sustaining him back up to full. But a tier 2 turret does fall in that top lane. 1 minute 15 seconds on the clock now for the Elder Dragon.
Yep.
Eclipse getting in a recall right now. I imagine that he has that third item completed. Should be a Zhonya's Hourglass. And this is going to put Dignitas in a very, very confident position. Vision control still in their favor in this blue quadrant jungle. And if FlyQuest do not have the tools to safely scout it out and walk into this area of the map, it's going to be so easy for Dignitas to just secure the Elder without a fight.
And look at the inventories for Dignitas, too. They have 5 ways to go golden, with Darkwing sitting on a Zhonya's and a stopwatch as well for this Elder fight. They realize how important this fight is. Really like the fact they got a team reset in and purchased all those before this one as they now take control of the real estate. Spyrax is waiting for his package. We're going to see if this one can work, because if not, it's going to game 2 here for FlyQuest with the loss on the board, as they need to take this Elder if they want to keep on fighting back in this one. That's a beautiful Ezreal ult.
Exu just throwing out the flag just to see if anyone will bait the bite, but he finally goes in for delayed Cataclysm. Tomo has to burn the flash. Package is used as a defensive tool. Exu takes a lot of damage on the retreat, but now he can just shield behind Spawn, who's going to take up all the bullets as well. Eclipse threatening to flank on the Tomo and Yuji through the top side of the jungle, but Dignitas, they've gotten all that they wanted. No package available, which means now they can turn towards the Elder.
And look at how split up Dignitas stay throughout that fight, just utilizing the move speed, utilizing the angles. FlyQuest are getting collapsed upon from all sides. They have no way to deal with this. As long as Dignitas doesn't commit, they're winning out with Darkwings taking the rockets and Spawn landing the poke. Is putting FlyQuest in this terrible bind where they really can't do anything, as Dignitas just dictating their will on the map as they're burning the Elder while Darkwings is keeping them busy.
And there's no wards for Philip to teleport to find a flank angle. He just has to brute force his way through. Elder is going down. Philip is trying to flash in, but it's already too late. Elder Dragon has been secured, and they're going to pop one by one. Spawn finds 2, finds 3, looking for the triple. Spyrex will also fall. No pentakill will be had, as it's going to be split up between the top laner and the AD carry for Dignitas, but what a way to start off the season.
Dignitas said that they were going to be a dark horse. They loved playing as underdogs, and that was a great game 1 from them, honestly. I mean, the coordination between using the Karma and that move speed, the Shirelias, to make sure that you were just bleeding out cooldowns one by one, making sure that you were in the right position for everything. Then the fact that Dignitas, every single fight, every single grouping they had, it was just these pronged attacks one by one. FlyQuest just had no way to react to that, and I think that Dignitas, well, that was a really good look for the first game of Academy coming out from them.
I have nothing more to say here, Cubby. I'm just so excited to see a lot of concerns and doubts maybe be quelled. I know it's just one game, so we can't necessarily have overreactions or results-based analysis, but if they're able to play this cleanly throughout the entire season, I think we have a great Academy roster coming out from Dignitas. But obviously, we still have,
but you know, we got a lot more games. There's 35 to go this season.
That's what I'm saying. Relax. Shut up. You're old. L+ ratio boomer. All right, we're going to game 2 in a moment, folks. But be back after this break, and we'll be with more action here.